I thought I was in love with my stepbrother for over a decade, until I finally told him the truth. I'm 24, and my stepbrother, Jake, is 25. Before you judge me, please hear me out. Our parents got married when I was 9 and he was 10. We didn't grow up together from birth, but after that, we were basically inseparable. We lived in a suburb outside Chicago, went to the same schools, celebrated every birthday and holiday together, and survived all the awkward stages of growing up side by side. Jake was the first person who taught me how to ride a bike. He helped me with algebra when I was failing 8th grade math. When I got bullied in middle school for wearing glasses, he was the one who sat with me at lunch until people stopped making comments. He always looked out for me, and somewhere along the way, my feelings got complicated. I was 13 when I realized I got butterflies whenever he complimented me. If he brought home a girlfriend, I'd suddenly feel annoyed for no reason. Every guy I dated in high school somehow ended up being compared to him. Were they funny like Jake? Kind like Jake? Did they make me feel safe like Jake did? The answer was always no. I knew those feelings were wrong, so I never told anyone. Not my friends, not my therapist in college, no one. I convinced myself they'd disappear eventually. They never did. Life moved on anyway. Jake went away to college. I stayed home for community college before transferring to a university. We both dated other people. We had our own lives. But every time he came home for Thanksgiving or Christmas, it felt like nothing had changed. He was still my favorite person. Last month, our parents went away for their anniversary weekend, and Jake texted me. A few friends are going to a rooftop bar downtown. You should come. It wasn't unusual for us to hang out, so I said yes. That night felt different from the moment I saw him. Maybe it was because we were older now. Maybe it was because we were both single for the first time in years. We spent hours talking, laughing, and teasing each other like always. At one point, his friends headed to the dance floor, while we stayed behind, sitting near the edge of the rooftop, overlooking the city lights. The conversation turned serious. We talked about work, relationships, and how weird it felt to be in our 20s. Then he looked at me and said, "You know, you're the one person who's always been there for me." My heart started racing. Later, when it got chilly, he took off his jacket and wrapped it around my shoulders. As we walked back to the parking garage, he kept brushing against my hand. For the first time in years, I let myself believe maybe I wasn't imagining things. Maybe he felt it too. I barely slept that night. The next afternoon, I asked him if we could talk. We sat on the back porch of our parents' house, the same place we'd spent countless summer nights growing up. I was shaking so badly I could barely hold my coffee. Finally, I told him everything. How I'd felt this way since I was a teenager. How guilty I'd always felt. How I knew it was complicated and unfair, but I couldn't carry the secret anymore. When I finished, I couldn't even look at him. There was a long silence. Then he reached over and squeezed my hand. He said softly, "I love you more than almost anyone in the world, but you're my sister, not my stepsister, my sister." He told me he understood how feelings can get confusing when two people grow up relying on each other through everything. We'd been there for each other through our parents' divorce, moving schools, heartbreaks, and family drama. But what we have is family, he said, and I never want you to feel ashamed for telling me the truth. I cried harder than I ever have. Not because he rejected me, but because he didn't make me feel broken. That conversation changed something for me. For years, I'd mistaken safety for romance. Jake was the first guy who made me feel protected, understood, and accepted exactly as I was. I wasn't really in love with him. I was holding on to the idea that love should feel the way family feels at its best. It's been a month since that conversation. Things were awkward for a little while, but now we're okay. I'm working through everything in therapy, and Jake still checks in on me like he always has. He's still my favorite person, just not in the way I once thought. Sometimes, the people who shape us become the standard for what love should look like. And sometimes growing up means realizing the difference between wanting someone and being grateful they exist in your life at all.